What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be taking a deeper look at the cups available for the upcoming season, Season 24 Tales of Transformation. I've actually gone ahead and made custom rankings for every single cup available throughout the season, and we're going to go through each one in this video and discuss what you should focus your resources on building right now. Before we hop into the video, I do want to clarify that the energy values for some of the move updates are still speculative, so take some of these rankings with a grain of salt. But without further ado, let's hop into the first league, the Retro Cup. In the Retro Cup, Dark, Steel, and Fairy type Pokemon are not allowed. So we take a look at the top rankings here. We've got Regidrago, Primeape, Dragonair, Kingdra, Gyarados, Corsola, Salamence, Goodra, Araquanid, Como, Ursaring, Shadow Ninetales, Oranguru, Aurorus, Abomasnow, Drampa. So we have some really cool ones in here. We've got the Peck users, Toucannon and Dodrio, as well as Furret making a little bit of a comeback. Confusion, Girafarig, Turtonator down at 29. You're going to see Turtonator a lot throughout all of these cups. Even Bellybolt making an appearance, Citadel, Trumbeak as well. Lugia at rank 39. Runerigus is also in quite a few of these. Confusion Bruxish. That's kind of a cool one. There's your Fearow, another Peck user. You have Altaria, Shadow Palkia, Celio. Some very cool ones. Thunder Punch, Dragonite, Zapdos with the buff Drill Peck as well. There's your Rockwrecker Crustle down at 63 and Toucannon. Confusion Hypno, Dartrix with Peck over Leafage. So a bunch of really cool picks here. Of course, this is a huge meta shift, but it looks like what you're going to want to focus on for this cup are those dragons, specifically the water dragons or the pseudo water dragons for this cup. Of course, you have your fighters, which are kind of sim heroes, but are also solid in all of these cups. Next up is the Summer Cup. Only normal, fire, water, grass, electric, and bug type Pokemon are eligible. So let's take a quick look at the rankings. We've got Togedemaru taking the rank 1 spot, as well as Kingdra once again at rank number 2, and Turtonator once again at rank number 3. And then we've got Toxtricity at 4, Drampa, Credilli, there's your Shadow Ninetales again, Bellybolt again, Diggersby making a comeback. We've got Unova, Stunfisk, Roserade, Dedenne. There's a Hisuian Typhlosion with Ember and Wild Charge. Very cool. You've got Magcargo running Ember as well. What else do we have? Anything else that got a buff this season? We can look at Zapdos once again. There's your Sunny formed cast form down at rank 39. Buffed Volt Switch on Chargebug. I'm pretty sure everything else. I mean, Salazzle did get a buff with the Dragon Pulse, as well as there's Crustle once again. And there's your Hyper Fang Pachirisu down at 50, offering it some coverage. And once again, Peck, Dartrix, and there's Shadow Gyarados once again. So very cool rankings from here as well. The next cup we're going to take a look at is the Mega Master League. Now, the way this works is usually only one Mega Pokemon is allowed. Of course, the rankings just show off what the best Megas are in comparison to the rest of the Master League. So let's take a quick look at those rankings. And right away, we've got Mega Garchomp at rank number 1. And you're going to notice something on the right here. And if you're not familiar with PvPoke, these numbers actually mean something. And it's basically how strong they are in the rankings. And there is a humongous drop from rank 1 down to rank 2. So we're basically saying that Mega Garchomp is the only thing you should be focusing on building for this cup. It's just so overpowered. And then basically just cover its weaknesses with Pokemon in the back that are non-Megas. So let's take a look and find what our first non-Mega Pokemon is. It's probably way down in the rankings here. Oh yeah, we're already down to the 30s. Hopefully I haven't missed any yet. Nope, it's straight Megas in the top 45. So, and then it's just the regular Master League alongside of it. So very cool though that Garchomp is pretty much the only one you should be focusing on for this cup. Up next, we've got the Willpower Cup. In the Willpower Cup, only Fighting, Psychic, and Dark type Pokemon will be eligible. However, Gardevoir, Zorua, and Zoroark are not eligible. So let's take a look at what those rankings mean. We've got Galarian Rapidash, which always does well in this cup as your Fairy Psychic, up at rank number 1 with Fairy Wind with the buff Body Slam and Wild Charge. And then we've got the buffed Peck Murkrow at rank 2 and 4, Shadow and Non-Shadow. We've got Morpeko, Primeape, Hatterene, Guzzlord, Metang, Claydol, XL Poniard. There's your buffed Zweilous, Pangoro, Komao with the buff. That'll be interesting. I wonder if you want to use Metal Sound on Komao in this cup at all, or perhaps not. We'll have to see. You also have Hydreigon down at 18, Lugia at 19 once again. So some very cool things popping up in the top ranks for these cups. Up next, we've got the Fantasy Cup, which is basically just going to be the Open Great League this season, but the Fantasy Cup is only Dragon, Steel, and Fairy type Pokemon. So let's take a quick look at what those rankings are. And we've got Corviknight once again at the rank 1 spot with super effective Sand Attack into the Steels. It's got Air Cutter for neutral coverage into everything else. And you have Payback for neutral coverage into the Steels as well. So as a Steel Flyer, that is a huge advantage. You also have Galarian Stunfisk making a comeback at rank 2, and then Alolan Shadow Dugtrio at number 3 with Mudslap. So we've got 4 ground steals in the top 5. That is absolutely insane with Steelix and Excadrill. There's Turtonator once again. Tinkaton at 10. We've got Melmetal at 12. Heatran making an appearance at 13 and 14. Force Palm Lucario at 15. There's your Shadow Empoleon at 17 with the Metal Sound buff. Shiinotic is kind of an interesting one down at 25, but kind of a cool core breaker. Everything else looks pretty normal. Of course, you've got your Dragonite and Dragonair. You've got Berserker with Shadow Claw, just having decent coverage into everything. There's your Darkspun and Whimsicott, as well as Tapu Fini. So some pretty cool picks there. There's Florges actually opting for Trailblaze in this cup over the introduction of... I guess it doesn't have it in its moveset just yet. But Chilling Water will be probably boosting this thing up in the rankings as well. Next up, we have the Jungle Cup. This is a league where only normal, grass, electric, poison, ground, flying, bug, and dark type Pokemon are eligible. So a very wide array of typings. However, Gligar and Galarian Stunfisk are banned. So let's take a quick look. Make sure I'm on the right one. Yes, this is the right one. Okay, so we've got Steelix once again at the rank 1 and 2 spot. Pangoro as well at number 3. Corviknight at 4. Guzzlord at 5. Fortress, Wiggly, Diggersby. There's your Zweilous once again, as well as Altaria down at 11. There's a Leafage Abomasnow down at rank 12. Shadow Salamence down at rank 15. Pectodrio at 17. Anything else that is new? We're seeing Togetic, but not Togekiss. That is interesting because Togekiss did get access to Peck as well this season. But there's your Peck Toucannon and Hydreigon, your Shadow Gyarados all getting buffed. Trumbeak down at 30 getting a buff. There's your Crustle once again, 32. Murkrow down at 33. Dartrix once again at 35. So some very cool picks. Fearow down at 42. Up next is the Master Premier. Now, this is the Open Master League, except Legendary, Mythical, and Ultra Beasts are not eligible. So your pseudo-legendaries typically dominate this cup, and right away you're going to see we've got Primarina at rank number 1 and Florges at number 2, 2 top fairy Pokemon. Florges is still opting for Trailblaze because it probably doesn't have Chilling Water in its moveset just yet, but it might opt for Chilling Water. However, Trailblaze might be better because you've got Primarina at the top. It can boost your Fairy Wind damage and your Moonblast damage, and you've got Rhyperior. So having coverage into both of those Pokemon would be really, really strong. And you have something we can bait Gyarados with. So yeah, maybe Trailblaze would be better for this cup. You've got your Dragonite with Thunder Punch at 3 and 4. There's your Togekiss opting for Charm in this cup. There's your Shadow Gyarados. Sylveon with the Charm buff, making it to number 8. We've also got Avalugg with the Body Slam buff at number 10, as well as the Volt Switch buff for Magnezone up to number 13. Goldango at 14. Metagross at 15. Goodra at 16. Metagross is opting for Bullet Punch over Fury Cutter. That makes sense. There's your Garchomp once again, number 18, Skeleturge at 19, Hisuian, Avalugg, Dragapult, Salamence once again. There's your Komao. So very cool rankings there. Next up, we have the Great League Remix, but we'll have to check back for later details. They'll update this list once they figure out what the top 20 most used Pokemon from trainers ranked ace and above are in the Great League, and then they're going to ban those, and then we'll see how that changes up the meta. We do have the Halloween Cup making its comeback this season. And in the Halloween Cup, only Poison, Bug, Ghost, Dark, and Fairy type Pokemon are eligible. So let's take a quick look at that. We've got 2 ground poisons at rank 1 and 2. We've got Clodsire and the newly buffed Mudslap Nidoqueen at rank number 2. There's your Shadow Scissor, which has been absolutely everywhere this season. We've got Toxtricity with Acid, as well as the Shadow Nidoqueen. We've got Tinkaton. We've got Carbink, Runerigus, Alolan Marowak. There's Murkrow once again. Murkrow top rankings in a lot of these cups, as well as the Turtonator and the Gyarados. There's definitely some things you should focus on that we've seen a bunch of times in all of these cups. Kingambit is a cool one, down at 24. There's your Rock Wrecker Crustle once again. Everything else looks fairly normal. Volt Switch on the Charjabug Fortress, still opting for Bug Bite. There's Swallow, which I think is going to be a cool core breaker this season, and definitely one to look out for. But everything else looks pretty normal. And then the final cup that we're going to take a look at is deemed the 2025 Championship Series Cup. This is a brand new cup, and they don't often introduce new cups, so I'm very excited for this one. And only Ice, Flying, Psychic, Ghost, and Dragon type Pokemon are eligible. However, there's also a large ban list, and that ban list includes Alolan Sandshrew, Alolan Sandslash, Alolan Ninetales, Lapras, Galarian Corsola, Kingdra, Jellicent, Honedge, Doublade, Aegislash, and Corviknight. So let's take a look at the rankings for this cup. And rank 1 and 2 occupied by Aurorus of all Pokemon. There's your Dragon Breath Gyarados once again, as well as Sableye at number 4, Celio, Shadow Celio at number 5, Guzzlord making a reappearance at number 6, Malamar at 7, Turtonator once again at number 8. We've got the Body Slam buff helping up Titan to get to number 10. There's your Leafage, Abomasnow again as well. XL Amora at rank 13. That would be a crazy ABB style team. That would be super, super cool. You've got Rollout Glalie. That's a very cool Pokemon. I actually have one of those built, so I'm excited. You've got Dugong, interestingly enough, at rank 19. Looks like Ice is going to dominate this meta big time. You've got Murkrow. You've got Hydreigon. You've got a couple Ghosts down here. There's Zweilous. Murkrow once again. There's Gyarados. There's Leafage Abomasnow. Once again, the Glalie, which didn't get buffed this season, but it's just an interesting cup that allows it to thrive. And then your inferior Dark Flyer there. You've got Confusion Oranguru down at 44, as well as Confusion Bronzong down at 49. Some Peck users, Toucannon at 51. But yeah, I basically just wanted to go through all of those cups so that you guys could get an idea of what you should start to focus on for building. And if I'm looking at all of those rankings, I'm looking at Shadow Gyarados as a top contender. I'm looking at Turtonator as a top contender. I'm looking at Murkrow as a top contender. Were there any others that we saw a bunch? We saw Kingdra a couple times. We saw Salamence, believe it or not, a couple times. We saw Drampa a couple times as well. There were a couple that only showed up like once or twice. I mean, Guzzlord, that obviously didn't get a huge buff. You saw Komao getting a huge buff, though. Everything else here, this one is kind of off. But yeah, once again, there's your Turtonator. Steelix is a big one, especially for the Open Great League, as well as Corviknight. But yeah, we've seen Murkrow over and over. We've seen Steelix, we've seen Corviknight and Guzzlord and Zweilous. So definitely focus on building those mons. Obviously, we'll have to see when the official rankings come out, how these metas shake up. But this is just an early look, and to help you guys start planning where you want to use your Charge TMs and your Stardust. But yeah, that's going to be it for me from this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.